For these presentations, there are initially 5 same-sector companies, namely Nestle and Berhad, Dutch Ready Milk Industry Berhad, F&N, Cocoland Holding Berhad, and Apollo Food Holding Berhad. These companies are all listed on Bursa Malaysia. In these presentations, we will explain these 5 companies' corporate governance report and discuss the content of their governance report with the MCCG 2017 and how they have reported each of the content differently. We will also discuss the corporate governance issue this company face and how to deal with the issue effectively. Lastly, we will be considering the duty and responsibility of director and the company board of directors. Governance report for MCCG 2017 revealed that the company complies with all applicable international standards and applicable Malaysian law and regulations. However, in order to maintain transparency and accountability, the corporate governance report must include sufficient information about the business performance, practice, procedure, and process.
In Nestle Malaysia Berhad's Corporate Governance Report, there are 3 of the contents that are aligned with the Malaysian Code on Corporate Governance 2017. First and foremost, according to the latest Corporate Governance Report of Nestle Malaysia Berhad, the company has established multiple codes of conduct and ethics publicly for the company's management, which is correspond to the recommendation in MCGG 2017. Nestle has also set a framework called Nestle Corporate Business Principles (NCBP), and also other code of ethics such as Nestle's Code of Business Conduct (NCBC), and Nestle Malaysia Anti-Corruption, Gifts and Entertainment Guidelines. Secondly, Nestle has the practice of publicly disclosing the compensation received by directors. Nestle has created a compensation policy in which the compensation policy is handled by GNCC, which stands for Governance, Nomination and Compensation Committee, and the policy can be found publicly on the official Nestle's corporate website. Thirdly, Nestle has a total of 43% participation of women on the board. It is essential to have a woman in the senior management of a company, as it is believed that the male brain is mainly hardwired for comprehending and developing complex systems.
According to the report, Dutch Ready Milk Industry Berhad also provided its shareholder with an annual statement of compliance with all applicable rules and regulations at the annual general meeting AGM and sent this statement to all shareholders through their proceeds prior to the AGM. This information can be found in the report. It goes on to say that Dutch Ready Milk Industry Berhad has established a hotline where employees can report misbehavior without the risk of facing punishment from their superiors. In addition, Dutch Ready Milk Industry Berhad stated that as part of its commitments to responsible business practice, it will continue to collaborate closely with stakeholders and relevant authorities to ensure that its policy adheres to all applicable law and regulations.
The 2021 government report of FN Holding PHP showed that the company economic crisis has always had solid corporate governance. This allows it to safeguard its assets and shareholders' content with still pushing long-term growth and important strategy. Director attend training regularly and stay up to date on current events and new regulations. Audiocom is primary responsibility for analysis and exchange corporate government, the performance of internal auditor and government procedures within the group.
One of the content of the Cocaland Government Report in relation to the MCCG 2017 is to strengthen the independence of the audit committee. In Cocaland, the ARMC has an appropriate and transparent relationship with the external auditor. Next is transparency in director remuneration. The remuneration policy and procedures of Cocaland's board consider the company's demands, complexity, and performance, as well as the skills and experience required.
Next, I will present about Apollo Food Holdings Berhad. Apollo Food Holdings Berhad was founded in 1966. In addition, the company is a holding company that is very dedicated to providing management service. Based on the governance report of Apollo Food Holdings Berhad stock code 6432, among the contents contained in the report are in strengthening ethical professional behavior, anti-bribery and corruption policy, and whistleblower policy that can be available on the official website of the Apollo Food Holdings Berhad company. Next, the board charter for the board is also among the contents of the government report for the company, where they outline the roles and responsibilities of the board, including responsibilities delegated to board committees or management, as well as board members and operations, which are reviewed periodically. Apollo Food Holdings Berhad also reports on multi-gender recognition that can offer more significant benefits, depth and breadth to the group's business strategy. The government management report for the company also stated that the executive director and senior management did not play a role in the discussion on their remuneration.
The corporate governance issue that can be identified in Nestle Malaysia Berhad is that the company's audit committee is not made up of fully independent directors. One of the audit committee members is a non-independent, non-executive director. Yang Tan Sri Dato' Seri Said Anwar Jamalulai is the independent director included in the audit committee of Nestle Malaysia Berhad, which is also the chairman of Nestle Malaysia Berhad. Hence, audit committees often have separate meetings with external auditors in order to talk about topics that either the audit committee or the auditors think should be kept confidential.
Dutch Ready Milk Industry Berhad corporate governance issue occur due to lack of transparency and accountability. These operations lack transparency and accountability in their operations. This indicates that shareholders and other stakeholders lack access to information about the company affairs. The Dutch Ready Milk Industry Berhad employ many directors who are responsible responsible for managing the company overall performance. Because there were so many directors in the company, the corporate governance issue may have arisen as a result of the fact that different directions bring different perspectives to the table whenever decisions are being made. Furthermore, the problems with corporate governance that these organizations were experiencing have been effectively addressed by increasing the company levels of transparency and accountability. Due to the lack of corporations increasing disclosures of information regarding their operations and affairs, there has been an improvement in both transparency and accountability. Corporations have encountered issues regarding which the board of directors has different viewpoint. Company must have an efficient method of communicating with their board of directors in order to ensure that they make the best decisions possible to avoid conflict of interest happening.
Dealing with corporate government challenges that have had an impact on the business. The company affairs and rules are not adequately organized. Some of precious items will see price drift as a result of the reorganizations. Rest of corporate government issues that require formal and transparent remunerations. Needs of determined salary, package, and select approach policy for senior management staff.
There are two corporate government issues that are faced by Cocaland, which are a lack of independence and a lack of fairness. Cocaland is weak in terms of independence because they only have less than 50% of non-executive directors. On the other hand, Cocaland is weak in fairness because they do not have a female members on the board. The corporate government issues faced by Cocaland have been effectively dealt with by enhancing independence. The company has enhanced independence by appointing independent board members. Next, Cocaland has established a gender diversity policy. Throughout the group, the board needs to adhere to non-discrimination of any form, whether based on age, race, religion, or gender.
The corporate governance issue faced by Apollo Food Holding Berhad is where the company has 6 boards of directors that are also gender diverse. There is 1 woman on the board of the company and the rest are men. Furthermore, each of their boards are different skills from each other, where some of their directors have experience in the field of taxation. Although their board of directors consists of both gender, they adhere to a minimum of 50% attendance, and the company's secretary attends all board meetings, and all proceedings and conclusions from board meetings are minute and signed by the chairman.
The corporate governance issue that can be identified in Nestlé Malaysia Berhad is that the company's audit committee is not made up of fully independent directors. One of the audit committee members is a non-independent, non-executive director. Yang Tan Sri Dato' Seri Syed Anwar Jamalullah is the independent director included in the audit committee of Nestlé Malaysia Berhad, which is also the chairman of Nestlé Malaysia Berhad. Hence, audit committees often have separate meetings with external auditors in order to talk about topics that either the audit committee or the auditors think should be kept confidential.
First and foremost, Dutch ready meal industry Berhad has a board structure that is not only effective but also efficient. This is because the board has been very effective in its oversight of the company operations. As a result, the company has maintained its excellent financial positions. For instance, the company wants to present regulator with a clear and accurate picture of the state of its finance and the opportunity that lie ahead. Besides that, the board of directors have effectively communicated with the various parties involved in the matters. For example, the corporations believe that the annual general meeting is the most important venue for communication between the corporations and its shareholders. The board of directors at Dutch Ready Milk Industry Berhad has done an excellent job monitoring the company operations. The board of directors must ensure that the company is led and managed efficiently and responsible.
The board of directors of FN Holding BHP is responsible for developing an ongoing program to promote sustainability. It focuses on the business aspects of giving environmental, social, and government ESG support to sustainability. Both communities look into issues that cross-within they provide and submit advice to the government.
In my view, Cocaland Board of Directors functions and perform well because of its accountability. Cocaland is accountable since its meeting will be conducted quarterly. The proceedings of all meetings are minutes and signed by the chairman of the meetings. Minutes of all board meetings are circulated to the director and approved by the board at the subsequent meeting. Besides, its board of directors function and perform well because of its transparency. Cocaland is transparent since they have an audit and risk management committee. One of the duties and responsibility of the audit and risk management committee that can show its transparency in the company is to review and verify that the allocation of options according to the employee share option scheme conflicts with the allocation criteria. Furthermore, there is a sustainability in Cocaland Board of Directors functions and performs to make an effective board. Cocaland is sustainable since they have involved in corporate social responsibility activities. For example, Cocaland has provided a sponsorship activity of NGO Yayasan Food Bank Malaysia during the pandemic COVID-19.
Lastly is Apollo Food Holdings Berhad has been in the market for a long time, and their business is very strong in the market as a result of the accountability and effectiveness of the board function, where they always support a strong quality performance management approach. Apart from that, The board functions in balancing the interests of stakeholders in the organization of Apollo Food Holdings Berhad. This function is effective in ensuring that stakeholder involvement continues to be and is able to strengthen the stake in the company. The function of an effective board of directors in Apollo Food Holding Berhad is to manage the company's affairs efficiently. Apollo Food Holding Berhad is a company that shows a quick total ratio for this Apollo company show a high level of equality. That's all from our group. Thank you.